you think it's important to go back and kind of think about those things and work them out and maybe form. You were saying like you didn't have a lot of beliefs. You weren't sure of what your beliefs were. You think it's a good idea to kind of walk your way through some of that and start to think, okay, well, maybe this is why I was picked on. Maybe this kid was hurting at home. Maybe he, like, I had pretty good support at home. Maybe he didn't. And you start to think your way through that, and you can maybe come up with some sort of logical information that says, well, the way I acted and the way I felt was totally fair.
I certainly think that letting go of bitterness and resentment is a good solution. This is something I spent the weekend with Cam Haynes, or a few days with Cam Haynes before I came here, which is why both of my calves are on fire. And he has this rock that he made us carry up the side of a mountain this week, and it's a 72-pound. It's a rock. It's a rock. It's not purpose built. It's not a rogue rock. It wasn't built by Sorenex or something. It's a fucking rock that weighs 72 pounds. And on one side of it, he's just got the word poser written. And it's because people on the internet call him a poser. And he lifts it up on his shoulder. And every time that he thinks about putting it down, he turns his head. And he sees the word poser written. And he reminds himself that he's doing this to prove these people wrong. Now, the interesting thing is, fucking bitterness, there we are, yes. Bitterness and resentment are a very, very potent fuel. But it's pretty fucking toxic as well. Now, Cam and Goggins both have a very, very large capacity to be able to not fill up their toxicity from that type of fuel. They seem to be able to use it and alchemize it in a good way. It doesn't work so well for me. I prefer peace. Like, I really want to be at peace. And that was the reason why when I got that message from that school bully, which is, you know, this huge, huge fucking essay after an article came out in the BBC, and I mentioned it very briefly about bullying in school, and it prompted this guy who'd been thinking about doing it for ages to reach out. And he said, I'm having a daughter, she's about to go to school, I don't want her to behave the way that I did. It made me reflect on the way that I behaved at school, and I don't want her to do that. And I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. I'm ashamed of the way that I treated you. I don't even know if you'll see this. I'm happy that you seem to be happy. I just had to get it off my chest. And the best thing that, I mean, first off, it was a beautiful message, but also I was like, I really, really want this guy to have a good life. I was like, fuck, like, maybe if it was one of the absolute key kids that the names do still stick in my mind, maybe I would have struggled to let that go a little bit more. But I don't know, with him, the peace was a big part of it. And I think that reflecting on it allows you to find a bit more equanimity.
Yeah. Our Project Family, we talk about meat all the time on the podcast because protein is essential for your health. That's why I partner with Piedmontese. And if you head to their website, they have so much different types of beef. They have beef sticks, beef jerky, tons of different cuts of meat. You should go check them out. Andrew, how can they learn more?
You guys got to head over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. And at checkout, enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is over $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
How were you bullied? What did this guy do?
Bits and pieces of. So the guy that messaged me, I don't particularly remember him specifically, although I recognize the name. A little bit of physical stuff, a lot of social stuff, just being shunned, being on the outside, always being like picked on and teased and stuff like that. So a good chunk of it was isolation, like, you know, little fights and like people pushing you out of the way in the hallway, which is fine. All of that stuff would be easy to deal with if you had a group of boys that you could go back with and go, he's a fucking dick, isn't he? But without that, it felt so personal. It felt like such a sniper curse that's just you. This is just for you. And there's no one to laugh it off. So it's super fucking humorless as well. You know, if you like the big bully guy in school comes through and like pushes you, but one of the guys goes, fuck dude, he did that to me yesterday. Like, that guy's such a dick. You would giggle about it, at least a little bit. You would be able to dispel some of that. But without even that, and again, like I hesitate to go, oh, woe is me, because I'm sure that I could have done things differently as a kid. But I did some psilocybin work a couple of years ago, and I remember seeing a version of me at 12 or 13 years old out on the floor of the bedroom where I was. And I remember looking at him and saying, like, fucking hell, like, you've been through a lot. Like, if I saw that kid now, or if that kid came into this room and told me his story and his story was my story, I'd pick him up and go, dude, like, you're going to be fine. Like, you're awesome. Like, look at all of the things that you're good at. Look at like all of the admirable traits that you've got. And it would just be a bottomless pit of sympathy for this kid and love and appreciation and acceptance. So that insight from a relatively high dose of magic mushrooms was good to realize, like, look, like, you didn't deserve to be treated that way.
Yeah.
And transcending that's like a big deal. But this kind of comes back to the shame thing that I'm like, fuck, you're 34 and you've got the businesses that you've run and all these different things that you've done. Like, are you still really harping on about fucking childhood bullying? But I hadn't been. I'd been hiding it. The reason I haven't spoken about it is because I was like, I don't want to be that guy. But I think it's important because I think a lot of people have been through shit in their childhood and they feel whatever, like ashamed or like it didn't matter. It wasn't a big deal. You go, well, who's to say it wasn't a big deal? You're fucking miserable through some of the most formative years of your life. Like, how's that not a big deal?
Power Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one. Or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, okay? Peace.